Here we are visiting Amy in heart of Sussex countryside. We're going to be on a raw patisserie class today, and we shall go and see what's in store. I think we're going to make a pizza with mozzarella cheese and some other goodies, so let's go and have a look.
So we're working on a cream spinach quiche, and we're going to do a topping for it, or a garnish at the moment. So we've got some cherry tomatoes, which have just been cut in half, some fresh basil, some garlic, lemon, and extra virgin olive oil. And we are just going to semi-dry these in the dehydrator. So the first thing we'll do, since they've already been cut and washed, is pop them into a bowl. And with a microplane, if you don't have a microplane, you can use a grater. A little bit of garlic into the bowl. A little bit of lemon zest. This is going to be a heavy tart, quite creamy, so it's good to have that acidic punch in it to break up the fatty flavors. A little bit of olive oil, not too much, because olive oil doesn't dehydrate, so it'll just be really oily if you put too much in. Give it a little mix. And we're going to do a fine cut, give me 1 second, of basil. And it's called a chiffonade cut, where you pile the leaves on top of each other. And then you roll it up like a cigarette. Keeping your fingers tucked in, roll right through that basil. And you get these beautiful strands. The reason that you do this is because if you cut through basil 2 times, 3 times, it starts to bruise. So this is a good way of getting one cut and getting lots of small pieces, which are perfect for this. Just put it right in. I'll just grab a dehydrator tray. I'm going to put this right onto mesh so it starts dehydrating straight away. You forgot the secret, most important ingredient, salt. Not much. A little bit of salt, give it a bit of flavor. Right onto the tray. I like to turn them over, but you don't have to. You can put them in any haphazard way. And that's it. Straight into the dehydrator for about 2-3 hours at least, if not longer. And we'll see how this turn out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're making the tart shell now that we just did the tomatoes for. And we've got here around about 3 cups of vegetables. We're probably only going to use about 2.5 cups of this. And this is mixed veg. We've got some lovely swede. We've got some sweet potato. We've got celery, which has been cut nice and small so that you don't get those strips of the stuff that gets stuck in your teeth. And we've got onion and garlic in there as well. And we're just going to pop that into the bowl. I'm just using seasonal veg at the moment. And you can do this at any time of year, and just sticking with seasonal vegetables. We're just going to pulse this up quickly first so that we get it to a nice small consistency. That's good enough. And then we're going to do about 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat, which has just been soaked and slightly sprouted, not too much. It's about 3/4 of a cup. And you don't need any flax in this recipe because what's going to hold everything together is the mucilagenic properties of that buckwheat. And this is about 1/2 cup of walnuts, which have been soaked and dehydrated, and about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a pinch of salt, more than a pinch of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and what makes this really nice is a bit of nutritional yeast, which just brings a nice kind of cooked, kind of cheesy, sort of savory flavor to this base. You don't need a lot of flavor in bases, but this is a nice one. We'll just pulse that up till it's all nice. And you can see already how that's holding together. You don't need any flax in there. And then we're just going to do the rest of the herbs, which is a bit of marjoram and a little bit of sage to give it a nice kind of meaty flavor. Just grab a spatula. Scrape down the side of the bowl there. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. It's nice and sticky. That'll hold together nicely in a mold. That's it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm with Amy on a raw patisserie class, and we've even got Chef White's toy. I'll fill the part.
Yep. Okay. So we've got our dough here, and we've got some water, a bowl of water that has a little bit of olive oil left in it from when we did the tomatoes, which helps this process for the tart to slip out of the shell. So you just dip your mold. You can also use tart molds, springform pans, but if you're going to use one of those, you need to line it with cling film. And you press into the bottom, the dough. Don't be afraid to get your hands wet to help you. And then you basically just, from the bottom, push this right up the sides. All that dough that you've just put on the bottom, you want to get evened out and make it nice and pretty. And it's that easy. And then you just run your finger across the top to make it even. If you should mess up, if you should, you know, stretch it too thin or anything, you can always add more dough, so don't worry about it. Just take the first one and have a little play. And don't get too down on yourself if it doesn't come out perfectly. And then spring it out. Sometimes it'll just come out really easily, like that, and sometimes you just might need to use your fingers to pull it down. These will get dehydrated for an hour on the Teflex, and then they'll be pretty solid. Then you'll be able to handle them, and then you just tip them right over onto the mesh sheet, and then it'll dehydrate for about 3 more hours. You want it to be quite soft inside still. You don't want it to be dry all the way through. That's not very nice. And then later on, we're going to fill it with our cream spinach and top it with our tomatoes. All right, your go.